Hey guys, welcome back. For those of you who haven't been to my channel before, my name's SlowBee, and today we're going to bring you a cooking with SlowBee video. I've had a few things going on the last couple days with my grandfather. He passed away, so right now it's Sunday, August 12th. Got nothing going on today, waiting for the funeral arrangements to come up this week. So me and my dad decided that we were going to cook a nice meal for ourselves in the brick oven. We went out and bought a sirloin tip, and then we're going to do some corn on the cob and potatoes. I already got the brick oven loaded up with some wood to get the fire started. Once we get the fire going and it's going good, we'll get the sirloin tip out and get it all seasoned up and get it rocking. We got fire. So my plan is to soak some corn, and then I have one of them old antique roasters that I like to use. I'll put the soaked corn on the bottom of that, and then I'll put the sirloin tip on top of the corn so it doesn't stick to the bottom, and then we'll put the cap on it, and then I'll slide it into the brick oven, and then I seal the door and then I seal the top. It'll pretty much snuff the fire, and then you let it sit, and as the oven cools down, the meat cooks pretty slowly. So I'm probably going to try to raise the temperature of the brick oven to about, I'm going to say I'll raise the temperature to about 800 degrees. It's about pizza cooking temperature. And once we get there and your knuckles can't really go in too far, then I'll seal everything up. I'll put the sirloin tip in. Before you know it, we'll have a nice hunk of meat to eat. So we have an 8-pound sirloin tip. We're going to get her seasoned up. I don't like to cut any fat off when I cook in the brick oven because I don't know how long it needs to stay in there. So it's just better to have it on there just in case you need it. This seasoning is just a seasoning salt, a mixture of stuff from the Mennonite store. I don't use a whole lot of the seasoning salt because it's pretty salty, but other stuff I'll use a lot more of, so you get a nice crust. I'm using McCormick's Spicy Montreal steak. We're going to put that on thick. I forgot the olive oil, guys. I use Bella from Magulia. Alright, so I forgot the olive oil. Normally I'll put it on and then put the seasoning on. And then once the fire hits it, it gives it a nice crispy outside. So I'm doing this backwards, so I'm going to dump it in my hand and just pat it on. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The olive oil, the McCormick's Grill Mate Spicy Montreal seasoning, the seasoning salt from the Mennonite store, beautiful hunk of meat. So next we're just going to wrap it up in the same thing I seasoned it on. Put this in the fridge for a couple hours while the fire is getting hotter and the brick oven's getting hot. We're going to get the brick oven up to about 800 degrees, which is pizza cooking temperature. And then once it gets there, we're going to put this into an antique roasting pan, cover it on top of some corn on the cob that has been soaking. And then we're going to, I have some extra bricks that I'm going to build behind the door to cover the door. And I'm going to put a cover on the top of the brick oven. As the fire cools down and the brick oven cools down, this hunk of meat will slowly cook. So I'm thinking an 8-pound piece at about 800 degrees as it slows down will cook probably about 4 hours, I'm thinking. There's really no wrong answer, guys. Guys, if you like what you see so far, please crush the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm uploading new videos. And comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. And we'll take it from there. So this is how I'm going to cook the roast. This is the old antique cooker I bought from an antique store. So what I'm going to do, it's going to look just like this. I'm going to soak the ears of corn in water for the rest of the day. And I'm going to line them up on the bottom of this pan, 4 pieces. And then I'm going to set the roast directly on top of them. And then cover it all with one sheet of tin foil and cut a few holes in it. Then I'm going to put the cover on top of this. I'm going to put the cover on top. And I'm going to put that in the brick oven for about 4 hours. So that's the plan. I wanted to show you guys. So if anybody out there wants to do the same thing, they have a good idea of how I do it and what works for me. So I don't just use my coolers for ice. Sometimes I like to cook potatoes and I'll put baked potatoes in there to keep them heated up longer. And I also soak corn in them too sometimes. So I'm going to show you what I'm about to do. I'm going to soak the corn on the cob. Normally I put salt in there, but I'm going to try something different today. I don't know if it will work, but we don't know until we try, guys. So I have Island Spice jerk seasoning. It's pretty salty. It's not like official jerk seasoning. It was made in Jamaica. This is stuff I more or less like to put olive oil in, and then I'll put a chicken breast in the baggie with the olive oil and the Island Spice jerk seasoning, and I'll just let it sit overnight or during the day while I'm at work, and it gives it a nice flavor, and the chicken gets nice and crispy. So I'm going to put this in the water for the corn instead of regular salt. I don't know if it will give it any flavor, but we're going to give it a try. There's the seasoning. And we're going to do a hefty, I already put the water in there. So that was a pretty hefty clump of spice. We're going to take an ear of corn and mix it up a little bit. Now we're going to start putting them in there. You can also chuck your corn and cook it in the cooler. I don't know if you guys knew that. I'll put the pan on the stove top. You get the water boiling. Once it starts to roll boiling, you dump it into the cooler. and then you do your next pan. Sometimes if you have two pans, you can do it at the same time, or sometimes you gotta wait, and then you dump it. Once the boiling water is in the cooler and you got your chuck corn in the cooler, you close the top and you let it sit. Usually I give it about an hour, and then all you got to do is go, if you're having a nice big party and you're doing like 24 ears or even 32, you just go over to the cooler and you can just take the cooler, any corn that's in the cooler is cooked. You just got to dry it off a little bit, and then you can get your butter and salt on there. So that's just a quick tip from SlowBee. We'll be right back. I guess what I didn't tell you was I am putting the 4 ears in the bottom of the pan, but the rest of them we are gonna fire cook. So what that means is I'm gonna get the fire going in this trusty smokestack fireplace, and then once the wood burns out and there's some coals on the bottom, we're gonna set the ears of corn right on the grate, and that's why we're soaking them. So when they're nice and wet, you can put them on there and they won't burn. Like, they'll kind of steam the inside of them. The outside of the ears will start to burn, and when they get nice and crispy all the way around, which we'll show you later, usually the insides is pretty much done. So that's what me and my dad are gonna do today. Kind of a relaxed day, just waiting for everything to go out, happen tomorrow on Tuesday, and that's why we're bringing you a video today. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the wood back some, and then I'm going to load a few more in there. We're starting to get pretty hot. The front of this is starting to swell up some. I'm adding 2 hefty logs. And some hickory. Start to move the wood back a little bit because this spot's nice and hot, so as we move it back, the oven will start to heat up nice evenly. $575 degrees. Roast out, and we're getting ready to put it into the oven. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some ears of corn for the bottom. They've been soaking for a couple hours. We're going to put 4 in there. And really all this does is keeps the meat from touching the bottom of the pan and then scorching, burning and scorching. So we're going to take the meat, look at that, guys, and set it right on top of the corn. I'm going to dump some extra juice on it. I'm going to take this piece of tin foil and put it on top because I want to seal it in. So normally I use one of them oven bags, but the last time I used it, the clear plastic ones, it kind of stuck to the meat, so trying it a little different this time. cap shut, and then I'm going to open this up just a little bit to let some steam out. We'll get the oven open. Got all the coals pushed all the way in the back. It's running at about 800 degrees, a little hotter right now. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this in there. I put it in the back kind of diagonal so I can grab the handles. So we're gonna leave that in there for about 2 hours. And then at the 2 hour mark, we're going to take it out and spin it so the other side gets the same cook too. And I save these extra blocks. And I seal off the front. Tighten it shut, and then you got this cap. Set it on top. So what's going to happen is the oven's going to cool down, not very fast. So after about, we're going to put that in there for about 4 hours. It's about an 8-pound sirloin tip, and after about 2 hours, we're going to spin that canister halfway. We're going to seal it back up, and then for 2 hours let it sit, and then we'll show you what happens when it comes out of the oven and how it looks. We'll see you then. Hey guys, welcome back. It's about 2 hours and 10 minutes in, and we're just going to spin the pan 180 degrees. You can actually start smelling right now. You can smell the roast cooking. So what's happening is, as the roast tightens up, it seems to be pushing the lid off. Which I guess I'm okay with. And in about 2 hours, we'll be eating like kings. We're getting ready to get that corn on the cob out. We're going to put it, that fire is going to break down the coals, and then we're going to throw the corn on the cob right on the grate and toast it, roast it. It'll be nice and yummy. And here we have our neighbor's dog. His name's Waldo. Sometimes you hear him barking in the background. I just wanted to introduce you. So, where's Waldo? That's where's Waldo. Hopefully the neighbors aren't upset with me. So the corn fire is taking a little longer than we expected, but we're getting there. So this is our setup. We put 2 holes in the back of the rebar, and then the grill slides, so you can put all your food on the front of it, and then you slide it all the way to the back over the coals or flames, whatever the case may be. So we're gonna get to that in a few minutes. I'm getting excited. You can smell the roast. I keep looking at the corn. It's nice and marinated in that stuff I made and the jerk chicken seasoning. We got some potatoes wrapped up. And we're getting ready to eat like kings. Never fails when I have the camera on, dogs bark. And that, my friends, is how the contraption works. Alright guys, the time has come. We're pulling the roast out. The moment of truth. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a bite of this. It ended up being about 5 hours in the brick oven. So the key to using the brick oven is being patient. When you cook stuff like that, you got to be a patient chef. It's in there for 5 hours. When you spin it, you got to keep yourself from looking at it, taking off the tin foil, taking a peek, ruining the heat and stuff. You just got to trust yourself, and the more you do it, the more confident you'll get. The corn literally only took like 15 minutes because we had the flame so hot. Not bad. Got to see if we can taste this seasoning I put in it. You kind of taste a little bit of the Caribbean jerk in the corn. And then the potatoes. Also only took like 15 minutes. So there you have it, guys. It took us all day, about 5.5 hours just to do the roast alone. It took about 3 hours to heat up the brick oven to about 800 degrees.
we had a little trouble, so we got a little later, which I think benefited us when it came to the roast. If you guys like this type of video, comment below. Let me know what I could do different, or what you like, what you don't like. Until then, I'll see you next time.